I want to talk about the video that I had you read this week, and it's called Program for Love by Jeffrey Young. Now, I wanted you to read this because it provides a lot of interesting topics, questions that you can think about and research for this class. Anything that you run across in your reading, you're welcome to actually take as a topic for research. Obviously, it gets um, harder to do this as the weeks go on because you're running out of time. But anything related to AI or the future of robotics, the humanoid, the advent of the human, the coming of the humanoid into our commercial and even residential and personal spaces. You can just Google this and find all sorts of strange things people are involved with robots and humanoids. Where we are with the development of this, how they look now, how realistic they are, so forth. But one of the things I really want to talk about here is the approach of the author. Remember, the main job here is to create interest, maintain it, reward it. Interest is created here with the title, with the pictures, and with the opening paragraphs. Please remember, you can use pictures in your research. All right, go ahead and include those if you want to. If not, you're not going to be penalized for not having pictures. I think the right sort of pictures in the right places can do a lot to help the reading experience. Anyway, let's move forward. What you have here is a controversial topic. Should thinking ahead to the future, should we just allow artificial intelligence or robots or automation or humanoids, social machines, as the phrase is in the essay, to invade all sorts of spaces that we have? Not only our um, you know job spaces, not only our educational spaces, but even our family and um, relationship spaces. One of the main voices of the essay, Sherry Turkle, says no. She says that robots, software, automation, humanoids, they're good for some activities in our society, but it would be wrong to use them in others. Now, she's not saying it would be too expensive or it would be inconvenient. She's saying it would be morally wrong to let them pass a certain border that we should have concerning how we emotionally connect. That's really the structure or the groundwork of that border. It's not can robots uh, watch over our pets or our elderly or our children. Um, it's not can they, you know, be in sort of a counseling position or therapeutic position as they talk, as bots talk to real people. We know that they can, but should they? And Turkle is saying no, they shouldn't, because one of the things that human beings can do is they can connect to anything that resembles them. And if you put eyes and a face and a nice voice to this machine, many humans can form an emotional connection with that machine that is not healthy for the human being, that can cloud the way they are thinking about the machine and can um, complicate um, the way we treat real people. It's more complicated than that, but that's something I'm going to present to you as sort of a nutshell version of what Turkle is saying. There's another voice in the essay that says, hey, it's okay. Really, anything that helps us with our loneliness or with our relationships is something we should embrace. So if some people really prefer, you know, their chat bots or their artificial intelligence boyfriends or girlfriends, then let them have those relationships. If there are businesses that are providing emotional experiences for others through robots or machines, then that's okay, because as long as those other people are not complaining, maybe they're even being helped by this. Now, I'm not just talking about the strange and the maybe illicit in the romantic arena. I'm talking about just having a robotic nurse maybe hold someone's hand as they are going through um, some painful episode of their sickness, or having artificial intelligence chatbots actually counsel someone online at a very low price, if not free. Having a chatbot as a friend. Now, if you want to see what the friendship industry is here is where it's at with this, you can look at what Japan is doing with very small humanoid dolls, what the romance industry is doing with artificial intelligence boyfriends and girlfriends. You can just Google that and read about it. But David Levi or Levy um, is saying, hey, that's okay. Okay, so you have this classic yes, and no situation going on here over what could be viewed as a controversial issue. So this is being presented to you perhaps as a debate, but I want you to see how how the author, Jeffrey R. Young, who never comes in and actually says, here's what I believe, how he sets up the complexities of the issue. I'm just going to point out a few things because I do believe that he is doing something here to um, show you that this issue is way more complicated than perhaps either of the two main voices of the essay are recognizing. For example, the title itself, Programmed to Love. Who has been programmed? The robot or you? Has a higher intelligence programmed you to love, or has an evolutionary process that deems that sort of emotion is best to ensure the survival of the genes? Were you made for this emotion? And are you able to almost automatically do it when you see a face that is attractive to you and that is kind to you? How do you accept that? So there's that provocative title, and then Sherry Turkle also shares this experience he's had with a robot named Cog. Now notice, I want you to read. This is where I believe Jeffrey Young is sort of adding an element of questioning here. I want you to read those 2 or 3 articles, opening paragraphs carefully. Nowhere in there does Sherry Turkle say that she actually felt like she was in love with Cog. Neither does the author Jeffrey Young ever suggest that. In fact, what Turkle describes is that as she was talking to this robot who has eyes and was looking at her, another colleague came into the room and the robot turned and looked at the other colleague, and Turkle lost the robot's attention. So what sort of emotion might that be when you lose somebody else's attention and they are now paying attention to someone else? There could be a couple emotions, not just love. If you are a person who demands attention, you need to live at the center of attention, the center of the room, then that is a negative emotion, but it's not based on love. It's based on selfishness. So there might be a sense that there was jealousy there was frustration there, that Cog had turned, but it may simply reveal that a Turkle needs to be at the center of attention, and she lost Cog's attention and she felt that negative emotion. Uh, Not every teacher is like this, but you do get used to commanding the attention of a class. You get used to demanding the attention of your interlocutor, your conversationalist, the other person you're talking to, especially if you're in a teaching position. So there's something that is natural for a teacher to want that. See, this is what I'm suggesting to you as Jeffrey R. Young is presenting ambivalence here. That means there's confusion. There's like, well, did she mean she was in love, or did she mean she just got jealous because she lost attention? Is Turkle as clean as and as pure of heart as she says she is? And I believe that Young is drawing a question mark over this. For example, at the very end of the essay, I want you to reread this part as well, because Turkle says, look, no machines for the elderly people. We need human visitors, human comforters. And then she herself admits that if she's ever in a room in her nonage, in her old age, at some home assisted living home, and no one is there to visit her or to talk with her. She wants, what does she want? She wants the complete works of Jane Austen to be played on continual loop. Now, some machine is going to play it, and that is not, that's the recording of a human voice, but that's not a real person speaking. The digital file or the 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 diaphragm of the speaker or whatever, that's what's producing that sound, not a human being. And the conversation is intellectually stimulating, but is not a true conversation because you cannot talk back to the complete recorded works of Jane Austen. So there's a sense of a conversation and of community and of company that can produce, but it is very much akin to the sense of shared experience and company, a motorized seal plush toy that purrs or shakes when you rub it can produce in someone. So Jeffrey Young kept that in for a reason, and it's undercutting what Turkle is saying. The last major undercutting that Young includes here is Turkle's admission to him that she is getting too many emails. This is about the last fourth of the essay, towards the end, maybe somewhere the second to last page or something. You need to read where you find out about the beep that keeps on happening in the background. And it beeps every minute, letting her know her email is up and open while she's having this interview with Jeffrey Young, isn't it? And it beeps every minute, letting her know that 30 people have reached out to her. 30 new emails are there. Well, 30 emails a minute. How many minutes an hour? 60. So we're talking about 1,800 emails, right? 1,800 emails, an hour. And let's just assume that Sherry Turkle works 5 hours a day. That's 9,000 emails a day. There's no way you're going to be able to open and answer meaningfully every one of those emails. If I were getting 9,000 emails a day, I would do two things. First of all, I would turn the notification off so I don't keep on getting that ping. And then I want to make a new email account. The simplest thing in the world to do, I would just open up a new Gmail account. The fact that she has that thing going during the interview should suggest to you that she, in fact, wants Jeffrey Young to know something about her. And that maybe hearing that bing also emotes something in her, makes something happen in her in terms of her own self-estimation. Hey, I am valuable. I am important. All right. But it's still a machine that is providing that. So what is Jeffrey R. Young doing here? He's providing you a traditional controversial topic with two debating sides. Yes, no. And then he presents that, but then he provides a subtle sort of mixing of the two to show you that it's very hard to be absolutely for or against something. Now, that is a technique that you can bring to play here because there are issues in our culture that many times people polarize themselves about, and they often end up with a yes exclamation mark stance or a no exclamation mark stance, when in fact, everyone realizes it's much more complicated than this. And if you want to write a paper exploring the way that people present their views on a controversial topic, and then in the second half of your paper, write to show how they themselves begin to contradict themselves as they try to live out those views, I think that's a great way to create interest, maintain it, and reward it over a topic. All right. And this one is using topics that are slightly controversial or maybe not so slightly controversial and which people in our society are arguing about.